Okay, so today we'll start with the basic data types of C program. So already C program is been studied by you all. So you know all the data types which are there in C program. So let me just brief recall some of the data types which we have. So unsigned and signed characters. So you can have the characters of unsigned and signed, and the maximum size of this is 8 bits. The size of the character is 8 bits, that is nothing but 1 byte. Next we have same unsigned and signed, we have short int, that is nothing but short integers. So the size of this short integer is up to 16 bits. In ARM processor, when we are dealing with the compilation of C2 assembly, you can see that the short integer size which is taken as 16 bit. So again the sizes depend on what compiler is being used. So for short integer it is 16 bit. For integers, the size is again 16 bit. Size is 16 bit. Next, coming to unsigned and signed long integers. Unsigned and signed, the long integers. The size of this is up to 32 bits. Next, we have the floating point data types. So for the floating point data types, we have double. So we have floating point data types. We have double. Then we have long double. Double, or we can say long double. So these are the data types which are there. So already you know about characters, short integers, integers, long integers. For floating point, so we have the data type as double and long double. Similarly, we have the data type which is a user defined data type, which is enumerated data type. And then we have the next as bit filled data type. So what do you mean by enumerated data type? So you might have seen you will be mentioning the data type as enum. So this is nothing but you will be giving the name for a particular constant. So assigning a particular names to the constants, we are using this data type called enumerated data type. Similarly, we have bit filled data type. So what do you mean by bit filled data type here is, so bit fields are used to assign the memory. It is used to allocate the memory to structures and unions. So already you have studied some derived data types in C, like arrays, then we have structures, then we have unions. So if you want to allocate the memories for structure and union, we'll be using this bit filled data types. So basically, if I write for example, let me take a structure here. So when I say struct, and then I just mention some variables in that. So int a, if I take, then suppose if I say int a, then let me take as char b. So what is happening here is, when you have the variables a and b in the structure S1, integer a means it will be taking by 16 bits. If it is a char, it will be taking 8 bits. So this is by default allocation of the memory to the structure. So if we go write this in a processor, ARM processor, so we have the memory block of 32 bit. So memory block of 32 bit. So only 16 bit will be consumed here. The rest will be padded with zeros. And next, coming to this, we have again in the second memory location you have the B character, which is the 8 bit, and the other locations are being made as or padded with zeros. So this is how the memory will be utilized. So altogether, if you just see 32 plus 32, 64 bits of memory will be utilized for the structure part. So instead of wasting, or how well we can utilize the memory, so that once we know, since we are having the user defined data type as struct, that is a derived data type, so we as a user or a programmer know how much bytes or bits of memory will be necessary for each variable here. So when you know that, we can use this bit filled data type. So I can just mention the bits how many are allocated. So for example, I can write it as int a is 2. I can write it as, here if I'm if the number is between 0 to 31, suppose. So if it is 0 to 31, so maximum how many bits are required to indicate the 31? It is nothing but maximum 5 bits. So I'll be just writing it as 5. So instead of using the whole 8 bits, I'll be using only 5 bits for indicating the data. Similarly, for char, if I take, I'll be having 8 bit here, so 8 bit can use it here. Similarly, again, if I have one more int c, suppose this requires some 16 or maybe some 14 bits, I can just mention it as a 14 here. So this is how you'll be using the bit filled data type. It is only to allocate the memory for the derived data types like structure and the union. So to how well you utilize the memory is very important. So you can assign the bits for uh, each of the variable here. So this is regarding the bit filled data type. So this was just the introduction, or introduction to the C data type. So already you know about characters. There are short integers, long integers. In the floating point data type, we have double and long double. And then comes the enumerated types and the bit fill. Now let us go with the some of the conditional expressions in C. So let us go to the conditional statements. Conditional statements which we have in C program. So in that, if you see, the first one is if else statement. So when this conditional statements can be, or in any ARM processor, when you take, you have this conditional statements. We can have if else, then we can also have while, that is while loop, then we can have, so before while, let me take the for loop here. We have a for loop, then we have a while loop, and the last we have is a do while loop. Last is having a do while loop. Okay, so these are some of the conditional statements in C program which we have. Now we need to know how exactly this C program, or we call it as a high level language. So since if you take any processor, it doesn't understand the high level language, so the high level language will be converted to the assembly level language, and then it will be converted to a machine language. So how exactly this high level language will be converted to a assembly language? So for example, let me take a simple example of if else statement. So let me write the simple C statement here. So let me take if else statement, which is in C program. So I will be taking as if A is greater than B, if A is greater than B, C is equals to A, else C is equals to B. So this is a C statement, C fragment of code which is given for in a C program. Now this has to be compiled and converted to an assembly language. So how exactly you get this in assembly language here is, now when I start with if there is a condition A, if it is greater than B, then what you'll be performing? You'll be performing C is equals to A. If the condition is false, what you'll be doing? You'll be doing C is equals to B. So how exactly you write this in a assembly code here is, so let me consider first if the variables, which are the variables in the C program now, A, comma B and C are in registers. So you can assume some registers where we have these variables are in registers. Let me take it as R0, R1 and R2. So in R0 we have A, R1 is nothing but B and R2 is nothing but C. So we have the variables which are in registers R0, R1 and R2. So after you compile this C code, you will be getting a equivalent, assembly code. So what is that equivalent assembly code which we get here is, so since the first statement here is a comparison, you are comparing A with B, and what is the comparison? If it is greater, do this, else you'll be doing this. So what is the first statement you'll be writing in a assembly code here is, you'll be writing is as compare instruction. Since it is a comparison, so you'll be having a compare instruction. So in this case, you're gonna compare A with B. So A is nothing but our R0, register R0, and B is nothing but our register R1. So I'll be comparing R0 with R1. So this is the first statement. No need to write the whole assembly code format what we have started with area and all those things. It is just the line to line compilation what we'll be doing in this. So the fragment of C code will be given, and with the same line you'll be having the compilation of that instruction. So for if A greater B, you will be having a compare instruction where you are comparing A with B. So the R0 compared with R1. Now what is the condition here? If A was greater than B. What is the condition? If A is greater than B, then you are gonna have the assignment. So you are gonna put the value of A in C. You are assigning value A to C. So this is the statement which has to be executed. So what I'll be doing here is, when I want to assign or move any data from A to C, I'll be using a move instruction. So when will this instruction will be executed? Only if A was greater than B. So I'll be using the instruction called move. I'll give a condition here. It should be GT, which is nothing but greater than, and what you are moving in R2 register, you are moving the value of A, that is nothing but R0 register. So I'll be writing this as R2 comma R0. So this is the instruction you'll be writing. So as I already explained you about this instruction move GT. Move is nothing but moving the content of R0 into register R2, and this instruction get executed only if in the previous instruction you had a greater than condition. That means the greater than condition was satisfied, then only this instruction will be executed. Otherwise, it will skip this instruction. So this is regarding the move GT. So if it was greater, it will do this part. What if it was the condition was false? That means if A was less than or equal to B, what happens? You are gonna do is, you are gonna assign the B to C. So what you'll be doing here is, I'll be using again the move instruction, move. Now I need to see that whether the comparison was showing me the less than or and equal condition. So I'll be using move LE. So less than and equal. If it is the condition true, then you are gonna assign the B value to C. So what is B? B is nothing but our register R1, and what is C? C is R2. So I'll be having R2 comma R1. So this is the compilation code what you get once you compile the C code. So first instruction what you have is, this is for if A greater than B, it will be doing. What is this instruction doing? This is doing your assignment, that is C equals to A, and the last instruction it is doing nothing but C equals to B. So this is how your C code will be compiled into a assembly code. Very simple program of if-else statement. Okay, so let us go ahead with few more programs on this. So already there is one document which has been shared to you all of C2 assembly and assembly to C, where we had the list of programs and we have given how the C is compiled and converted to an assembly code. So let me go ahead with the same programs and explain you how we have done that. So from the document which has been circulated, the first code was given to you. This is a C code which is given, that is first is R3 is equals to 1. This is assigning the value 1 to R3 register. R1 is equals to 0. Then we have a while condition, while R3 not equal to 0. We are going to perform if R0 and with R3 is not equal to 0. You are going to have R1 is nothing but R1 plus 1. This is what is in the if condition. And then here I will be having R3 is equals to R3 plus R3. So this is the C code which has been given. So we need to compile this C code and get the equivalent assembly code. So the first instruction which is there is R3 is assigned with 1. So you're going to assign the value 1 to R3. So the assembly code is going to come like this. The first instruction R3 is equals to 1. So which instruction will be using here? So I want to assign the value 1 to R3. So I will be moving the immediate value 1 into the register R3. So I will be taking it as move R3 comma hash 0 1. So we have now moved the data 1 in register R3. What is the second instruction here? If you see, second instruction is similar like the first one. So instead of R3 it is R1, and you are going to assign the value to R1 as 0. So what you will be doing it as? You will say move R1 comma hash 0. Move R1 comma hash 0. So this is the second line of instruction which you have. Okay. Now this first is over, the second is over. What is the third instruction? What we have here is, this is a while instruction. So in a while instruction, what you are checking? What is the condition? You are comparing, checking if R3 was not equal to 0. So you need to compare. So this is nothing but you are comparing, right? So you will be using which instruction here? For the assembly code, it is nothing but CMP, that is a compare instruction. So let me say CMP compare. So what you are comparing here? You are comparing R3 with 0. So how I will be writing this? Compare R3 comma hash 0. Now R3 will be compared with 0. Okay. Now what is the condition? When will this while statements get executed? Only if this condition was true, the while statements get executed. But if the condition is false, it just comes out of the while loop. Now you need to check whether it was not equal or no. How do you check it? So I need to see that if it was not equal, come inside the while loop and execute it. If it was equal, say suppose R3 was equals to 0, what you will be doing? You will be skipping out. You will be coming out of this last flower bracket and execute the rest instructions. Okay. So what you will be writing here? I will be writing the instruction branch, because I want to branch from there. So branch equal. Okay, branch equal. If not equal, do this. If it is equal, come out of the while statement. So branch equal. So I can give any label where I'll be coming out of the loop or out of this statements here. Okay, so I can just mention the label as halt here. Okay, so I'll write the label at the end because we need to just come out of that. Okay, now after you are compared, you have a branch instruction. Branch if equal to a label called halt. But if it is not equal, what you need to do, you will be executing the next instruction. And what should be the next instruction? If R3 was equal to 0, what you are going to do the next is, you're coming inside the while loop now and you're executing the first instruction in the while, which is nothing but if statement. So what is this if statement doing? You are in the if statement condition, you're ANDing R0 with R3 and then checking whether this was not equal to 0. So I need to perform a AND operation for the register R0 and R3 here. Okay, so as I already explained you about the TST instruction, that is the test instruction, you can use the test instruction because we don't want to keep the result. We just want to compare and know what is the status of that. So no need to keep the result of the AND operation. So I can use a test operation here, a test instruction. So I'll be using TST test, and what I'll be ANDing or what I'm doing here is R0 and R3. So I'll be writing it as R0 comma R3. So this is regarding the test instruction. Okay, now this is the AND operation is been performed. Based on that, the particular flags will be affected. Now what is the condition? If this was not equal, you are gonna perform R1 equals to R1 plus 1. So you are gonna do addition of this. So what I'll be doing here, I'll be using add if not equal. So what condition you can give? If, that is add NE. I can give a conditional instruction here, that is add only if the previous instruction gave you a not equal to 0 condition satisfied. Okay, so add NE. So what you'll be doing, add NE is nothing but you'll be adding in R1, you're going to store the result R1 comma R1 comma hatch 1. So this is what you'll be doing here. Okay, so if it was not equal, you're going to perform this instruction, and suppose if this was equal, suppose the if condition, it was the false condition, so it will come out of the if loop, and what is, once it comes out of the if, what is the next instruction it will be executing? That is nothing but R3 is equals to R3 plus R3. Okay, so I'll be just saying add yes R3 comma R3 comma R3. Okay, so this is what I'll be doing for the add instruction here. Okay, now this is regarding the if part. If the condition was not equal, I'll be adding R1 with R1 plus 1. Suppose if the condition was false, that means the result was equal to 0, what you'll be doing? This instruction will be skipped and it will go to the next instruction, which is nothing but add yes instruction. And what is that add yes instruction is doing? It is nothing but it is adding R3 plus R3 and storing the result back in the R3 register. So this is the instruction which is executed. Okay, so this is how your if statements are going to work and the statements in the while work. Now coming back to the branch EQ halt. Okay, so now what I'll be doing, if it was equal, I just come out of everything and just halt the process or end the process. So what I'll be doing, I'll be just saying it as branch equal halt. So I'll be giving the label here as halt. Then I'll be mentioning a branch, unconditional branch, and then again I'll be making it as a halt here. So this is how we write the assembly code. So how exactly it's working here, I'll just explain you again here how this code is working. What is the first statement in C code? It is R3 is equals to 1. What you're doing, you're assigning one value to R3. So what is the corresponding instruction what we have in assembly here is This is doing nothing but R3 is equals to 1 part. So move R3 comma hatch 0 1. Okay. Next we are assigning 0 to R1. So same instruction again, move R1 comma hatch 0. So this is doing nothing but R1 is assigned to 0. Okay. What is the third instruction in the C code? It is a while statement. And what you are doing in the while, what is the condition? You are checking whether R3 was not equal to 0 or no. Okay. So if this condition is true, then only you go into a while loop and execute it. If the condition was false, you straight away come out of the while loop. Right? So you know the C program, how it works. So here in the while we are going to do comparison. So if you want to do any comparison, you are going to use the compare instruction, CMP, and what you are comparing R3 with 0. So R3 comma 0 here. Okay. So if it is not equal, go inside the while. If it is equal, straight away come out of the while loop. So this is the instruction which will come out of the while loop here. Okay. So you can see branch equal to go to the label or jump to the label halt. And where is the label halt? It is here. And what we are doing? We are just executing the unconditional branch instruction here. Okay, this is the end of the program. Now suppose the condition was true. That means R3 was not equal to 0. What you are performing in the while loop? The next instruction is if statement. So in the if, what we are doing? First is and R0 with R3. The result of this will be compared with 0. So first I'll be doing the AND operation. So let me take test instruction. So as I told you, why we are taking test instruction here is because we are not bothered of the AND operation result. Okay, I don't want to store that result anywhere. I just want that flags to be affected based on what result we have got. So we can use TST, which performs the AND operation and discard the result. So you are gonna AND R0 and R3. Okay. Next instruction is add any. Why we have add any here? If this two was not equal, what are you gonna perform here? Okay, I'll just mention here. This is nothing but for your while R3 not equals to 0 part. This is when the condition in while is false. When the condition is while is false, then TST is nothing but you are performing R0 ANDed with R3. This is what you are performing. And add NE is nothing but if the condition was not equal. If the condition is satisfied, that is if it is not equal, then you are performing R1 is nothing but R1 plus 1. This is what it has been done here. Next is add S. So once you are done with this, if the condition, after you do this, the next statement is nothing but R3 is equals to R3 plus R3. So this is what is done by this instruction. So this is performing R3 is equals to R3 plus R3 here. And then the last instruction is unconditional branch here. Unconditional branch to the same line. So you can see branch halt. Where is the label halt? Halt label is here. So it will come here again. What is the instruction again? It is branch. And where it should go? To the label halt. So continuously this instruction infinitely it is been executed here. Okay. So this is how we write a assembly code for a C code which is been given. Okay. So in the document you need to make slight changes here. So in the document which has been circulated after move instruction, it has been directly given as TST. It has been directly given as TST. So these two instructions have been missed out from there. So just have a note, change, or in that same document you just make the changes. After to move instruction, you're gonna have a compare instruction, and then you're gonna have a branch equal instruction. So just make that changes in the document which has been circulated in the WhatsApp group. So just write this two instruction, and after that comes your TST and the rest all instruction. So I think the last instruction is also not mentioned. So you can just mention that last instruction here, that can be done. Okay. So this is regarding the first C code which is been given in the document. So let me go for the second program, second C code program here. So in the second C code, it is similar to the first one. So if you, all of you have understood the first code, how it has been compiled and converted to assembly, you can also do the second. So I'll just write down the second code here. So we have the first instruction is R2 is equals to 0. Then we have a while statement, while R1 not equal to 0. Okay, not equal to 0. Then in that we have if statement, if R1 ANDed with 1, if it is not equals to 0, you're gonna perform R2 plus equals R0. R2 plus equals R0. This is the if statement, and then after this you are gonna have R0 left shifted by 1 and R1 right shifted by 1. After this while is completed, we have one more while here, while 1. This is while 1. So this is the second code which is there in the document. So similar to the first one, but only that we have new operators here. One is the left shift and the right shift operators available. So what is the assembly code, how we write is, let us start with the first instruction from the C code, which is R2 is equals to 0. So you are just assigning. So I'll just write it as move R2 comma hatch 0. Now we have moved the data 0. This is the immediate data 0 which is been moved into R2 register. So once we have done that, what is the next instruction here? It is nothing but the while statement. What is the while statement given here? While R1 not equal to 0. So what you are doing? You are comparing R1 with 0. So when you are comparing, you are going to use CMP instruction, which is nothing but compare instruction. Comparing what? You are comparing R1 with the value 0. See that you mentioned the hash sign. Hash sign indicates that it is a immediate data. This is only to indicate that this is a data value. Okay. Coming to the next. Once you, okay, so if it is not equal, you will be performing the statements in the while. If it is equal, you will be just coming out. So I'll just write it as branch equal to halt. Same like the previous what we have done. If it is equal, I'll just skip the while loop and come out. So I'll be coming out from the while statement here. Okay. Next, suppose if the condition was not equal, it is satisfied. That means we'll be executing the while statements. So what is the while statement here? In this while statement is what? If is the first instruction here. So if R1 and with 1 is not equal to 0. So what you'll be doing first? You will be performing the AND operation first. So what you'll be using here? Like the previous, we are using TST. We'll be again using TST. Here TST R1 comma hatch 1. R1 comma hatch 1. So this is what you are performing the AND operation without, sorry, AND operation discarding the result. So coming to the next, you are comparing whatever result you have got, you are comparing it with the value 0. So if it is not equal, you will be executing what? What is there in the if statement? R2 plus equals R0. So this instruction is as good as R2 equals to R2 plus R0. I hope you know this notation, plus equals. So it is nothing but R2 is equal to R2 plus R0. Okay. So once you do this, you are comparing. If it is not equal, go into the execution of the if statement, that is addition. So what I'll write here, add NE. If the previous instruction result showed you a not equal condition satisfied, then you will be adding. What you are adding? You are adding R2 with R0. So this is nothing but R2 comma R2 comma R0. R2 is added with R0. The result will be stored in R2 register. Okay, so this is what we have executed now. Okay, once we are done with the if statement, what is the next statement will be coming? Once we are done with this, the compiler comes to the next statement. What is the next statement? R0 left shift equals by 1. So what is this exactly? This instruction, this is nothing but R0 is equals to R0 left shifted by 1. Okay, R0 left shifted by 1. Similarly, this is nothing but R1 is equals to R1 right shifted by 1. So this is how we elaborate it. So these are the two instructions. Now when we talk about left shift, right shift, we are going to use the logical shift operators, that is LSL. Okay, and for right shift, normally we go with the arithmetic shift operators. Okay, so let us go with the two operations instructions here. So what you'll be writing here? Now what I want to do is, I want to, the R0 register, I need to first shift left by 1 bit and then store the result in R0 or move the result in R0. So I will use the move instruction, move R0 comma R0 comma LSL hatch 1. LSL hatch 1. So what is this instruction doing? There is a left shift operator, left shifting by 1. For what? You are left shifting it by 1 for R0 register. So whatever you got the result, it will be moved into the register R0. So this is regarding this instruction. The next instruction, which is the right shift operator. So as I told you, we are not going to use logical right shift operator. We will be using a arithmetic right shift operator here. Okay, so what do you mean by arithmetic right shift operator is here? So if it is any negative number, when I am using any arithmetic shift operator, it will show me a negative number. So you will come to know if there is a negative number by checking the MSB bit. Okay, so if I am shifting right, obviously that the MSB bit is gonna change. So when I use logical right, the negative number becomes a positive number. So that is totally wrong. So what we need to do is, a negative number shifted has to be a negative number. So we always go with the arithmetic shift operator. So I'll be having here as move. So what you are going to do? R1 is right shifted by 1. So R1 right shifted by 1 and load the value of that in R1 register. So move R1 comma ASR, that is arithmetic shift right, by what? By 1 bit. So this is the instruction what you will be writing for that. Okay, so this, okay, so I'll be having a move yes here, so that the flags get affected. Why we are writing move yes? Because since we are shifting it right, your MSB bits are going to change, and we need to be indicated whether you the flag should be affected when you are doing any right shift operators. Okay, arithmetic shift operator. Next, now we have done with R0 left shift, R1 right shift. When you come out of this while statement, what is the next statement what we have? Okay, after if is over, this is the while which has been completed, and once the while loop is completed, the last statement what we have here is again while 1. So what do you mean by while 1 here? It is nothing but a forever while. So what do you mean by forever while here? You can see for this while there is no statements given here. So the compiler will be executing this instruction continuously, infinite time, because while 1 is forever while, this will be executed forever here. Okay, so for that, if I want to make that condition to execute it forever, we can use our unconditional branch B. I'll use the same halt label, and the halt label is given here. Like in previous program we have done, the same we'll be doing here. So B halt B is nothing but as good as you are doing while one operation. Okay. So this is regarding the second program which is there for the which is available in the document. So this is the second code. Okay, I hope you have understood. The first one and the second one is similar, only instead of we have used some new operators like shift operator, left shift, and the right shift operators here. Okay, so let me take one more simple example here. So this is not in the document which is given to you. It is just simple program. There is a statement given: if R0 is equals to R1 and R2 is equals to R3, you're gonna just have R4 plus plus. So simple statement of if. Okay, so what is this if statement means? R0 equal R1. If this condition is true and this condition is true, if both the conditions are true, then only you'll be executing this instruction which is R4 plus plus. So how do you write these instructions here? So first thing is you're gonna have comparison of R0 with R1 and the comparison of R2 with R3. Okay, so I'll be starting with the compare instruction. So this is my assembly code for the above C section. So I'll be writing it as compare R0 comma R1, compare R0 comma R1. Okay, so if this condition is true, then I'll be comparing the second condition. If the first condition itself is false, no need to compare the second condition. So if statement is executed only when both the conditions are true. Okay, so if first condition is true, I'll go for the second to compare. If the first condition itself is false, I'll not go for the comparison of the second condition. So first is compare R0 comma R1. So from this comparison, I should come to know whether this condition was true or not. So what I'll do, I'll write compare EQ. Compare EQ. Okay, compare EQ. What I'll be doing? Compare the second condition only if the previous condition was equal. So I'll be writing this as EQ R2 comma R3. R2 comma R3. Okay. Now if both the conditions are true, what you will be performing? You are just incrementing R4 by 1. So plus plus means it is a incrementing. So incrementing by 1. So what you will be writing here? Add EQ. So you just look here. First you are comparing R0 comma R1. Second instruction is also a compare but with a condition. That is nothing but if the previous instruction was equal, then only you will be going for the comparison. Okay. Again, if the previous instruction was equal, then you are going to go for addition of R4. Okay. So what you will be writing here? You will be writing as add EQ R4 comma hatch 1. R4 comma hatch 1. So that add is also with a condition. What is the condition? If equal. So if your previous instruction, the compare instruction, gave you a result of equal, then only this add instruction will be executed. So can you see in a 3 lines we have completed the compilation of a C code. Okay, so this is how we write the C compilation from C code to assembly code. Okay, so using the conditional instruction, it has become very easy, or we have written the code in a less number of instructions are included. In case if you didn't have the conditions, you need to write some 10 to 12 lines of program for this. Since we have the conditions instruction available, we have written this in a 3 lines. So this gives a very optimized code compilation of the code here. Okay, so this is one of the example. You can just note down, since it is not there in the document, just you can note down this example. Okay, I'll just show you one simple example or a code where you can do a comparison with the branch instructions written as well as the conditional instructions written. Okay, so I'll just give a simple example of comparison. So let me write a C program here. Then we will write a assembly code using the branch instruction. Okay, the branching instructions, and then we'll have a assembly code using conditional executed instructions. Okay, conditionally executed instructions. Okay, so let us take a simple C code here. I'll take the if statement. If R0 was equals to 0, you'll be performing R1 equals to R1 plus 1, R1 plus 1, else you'll be performing R2 is equals to R2 plus 1. A simple example here. So this is a C program of using a if statement. So how exactly you can write assembly code? You can write an assembly code using the branch instructions. You can also write the assembly code using the conditionally executed instructions. Okay, so I'll just write this code so you can have a comparison here. So here I have CMP R0 comma hash 0, then branch not equal to else. I'll take a label as else. Then I can have add R1 comma hatch 1. Then I'll take B as end, branch to end. So here I have a else label where I'll be having add R2 comma hatch 1, and then I have a end statement here, end label, which is nothing but P and B. Okay, so this is a simple code which we have written here. Now we can, this is using the branch instructions. You can see you are comparing R0 with 0. If the condition is not equal, you're gonna go for the else label, and in the else label what you're doing, you're adding R2 with R2 plus 1. Similarly, if it is equal, what you're doing R1 plus 1. Okay, so this is what we have written the code using the branch instruction. The same code I can write using the conditionally executed instruction. So you can just see there, we'll be writing it as compare R0 comma hash 0, first instruction, then add EQ R1 comma hatch 1, and then I'll be writing add NE not equal R2 comma hatch 1. This is the end. So you can see in a 3 instructions we have written the C code, whereas when you go with the branch instruction you have written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is last is 6. So 6 instructions we have taken. Okay, and here we have taken only 3 instructions. So you can see how efficient it is when you write the assembly code using the conditionally executed instruction rather than using any branch instructions here. Okay, so this is the most important advantage what we have in ARM processor, that most of the instructions which we have, can be executed, they can be conditionally executed here. Okay, so this is a simple program. I just wanted to show you the comparison, how you use a branch instruction and how you use a conditionally executed instruction. So both are gonna yield the same result of what C program you have written. Okay, so we'll take some few more programs in the next class. So when you are just having looking into this video, just go through or have the document with you and just keep on analyzing what is been given and how we have written here. Okay, so understand the concept, how exactly we are writing or how we are compiling it. So how optimized you write the code is very important. So you, as a user, as a programmer, you have many ways of writing the program. Some may take 6 instructions, some may take 8 instructions. Okay, but the thing here is how efficient or how optimized code you write and which is going to yield the same result is very important here. Okay, so we'll continue in the next class. We'll cover up the few more programs on C to assembly, and then we'll go for assembly to C.